is from IoTeX. They are building this innovative blockchain platform for IoT, which stands for Internet of Things. And they're going to tell us about architecture of their platform, and then some of use cases that can happen using blockchain in IoT industry. So please welcome Raullen and Kevin.
Thank you. 안녕하세요, everybody. So Raullen from IoTeX. IoTeX is a young blockchain startup in Silicon Valley, California. So I guess I can first maybe talk a little bit about myself, then the company. So I grew up in China, and I went to school in Canada. So that's where I got my PhD in Waterloo, mostly doing research on the cryptography. After graduation, I came to California, Silicon Valley, right? Like the dream for everybody. So I work there, I work in Google, I work in Uber. Mostly I just lead all the security and the crypto teams at those companies, which is fascinating. Apart from that, I'm a very early believer of Bitcoin or blockchain technology. So actually, I'm the first group of academic readers who read the Bitcoin paper when it came out in 2009. And also, I'm the first group of miners who actually mine the Bitcoin. I think back in 2010 something. Yeah, I have like this big giant machine, just generate a few coins maybe per month. Yeah, that was a nice time. But I always want to do more besides of investment. I want to use my knowledge, use my technology, try to improve how Bitcoin works, how Ethereum works, right? So this dream finally came true last year around August. That's when I met my two co-founders, Kevin and also Jane. And we found this company called IoTeX, which is doing blockchain for the IoT. So, and also thanks for the invitation from Hashed. They are very supportive for what we are doing. So that's where we are. So the IoT market is a huge market. So people are visualize the future society is basically everything should be connected. So there will be like 18 billion devices by the year of 2012. This is an estimation from a famous research institution, and the market value for IoT will be like more than $10 trillion by the year of 2025. So that's a very huge market, right? But are we getting there? Like when we ask ourselves very honestly, are we getting there? Looks like it's still far away. Like what's the problem behind this? Why are we still like kind of far away, right? It's like any 10 years from now on, but we didn't see everything is connected right now. So we think there are three problems. The most important one is everything is still, IoT devices is still too expensive. Because they are so expensive, so it cannot be easily adopted by everyone. It's just like everyone can just maybe afford a few devices, but not every device is affordable. So second one is lack of scalable infrastructure. For example, like Google, Amazon, they have this huge awesome team working on the infrastructure, so they can have like a very good infrastructure for their IoT devices. But for lots of small like IoT vendors, manufacturers, they really don't have this backend infrastructure to support how their IoT work as a system. So that's why they can manufacture devices, they can ship it to your home, but it's just a single device. It's not connected to the whole world. So that's the second reason. The third one is privacy. Like we do see privacy is a big concern when everything is connected. Think about like if everything is connected, basically everyone knows what you're doing because right, like the devices around you. So that's where the privacy comes into play. But for now, there is basically no privacy at all. So that's why. We're thinking when we merge this blockchain and IoT from two angles. Like the blockchain may solve the IoT's problem, while the IoT may solve the blockchain's problem. So what is blockchain's problem? So blockchain is a very fantastic technology. It basically can make everything an asset, a crypto asset, like he introduced, and make them sellable and tradable, right? However, the physical things, it's not easy to be like bring them on the blockchain. So that's a problem blockchain is facing. So that's why we think IoT could work as like a bridge between the physical world and the blockchain world. So that's one. And from the IoT side, we think that like the blockchain could solve. Let me go back to the previous slides. So from the IoT aspect, the blockchain can solve lots of problems. For example, like the device is too expensive, but when we extend this token economy model to the IoT world, we can drive down the cost of the device. by making it maybe shareable with other people, by making the data it generates like to sell it to other people. So that's why we can just drive down the cost. Also, we can provide this infrastructure because blockchain is a decentralized system. So we can just provide this infrastructure for everybody for free. So that's how like the small vendors, like even like some individuals who want to do some IoT apps, they can use this infrastructure. And thirdly is the privacy. Because blockchain natively comes with some sort of privacy, not enough, but some sort of privacy, which will also be leveraged in the IoT world. Okay, so let's say blockchain plus IoT will work. But how about current blockchain? Why don't you just use Ethereum? Why don't you just use Bitcoin, right? So, so that's why we have this table here. So we think like the nature of IoT. When we think about the nature of IoT, like the IoT devices, they are so different. They could be like autonomous cars. They could be as small as like a cell phone, like even a light bulb, right? So they're so different. So it's not easy to have a like blockchain to just have them work for every devices. So that's a challenge like current blockchain is facing. That's for one. And second is the number of devices. Think about Bitcoin network, think about Ethereum network. They're just like a few thousand of nodes globally, not too much. But if you think about like the IoT devices, there will be billion of devices. So there must be a way to connect all those devices to the blockchain network. So that's a second challenge. And third one is the privacy, like I said. Like the privacy for the current blockchain, there's some sort of privacy. That means pseudonymity. That means basically, there's no tie between your personal identity and the address on the network. But however, you can still see like the money flows in, flows out for those addresses. You can just not tie it to a person. But there's some way if you want. So that's why blockchain itself has a very limited support of privacy. So that's a third challenge we are facing. So IoTeX is created to solve all those problems. So we have some innovations here. So first one, I want to talk about like the RDPOS. I think the first presenter, or maybe roughly, touched on the DPoS scheme, which lots of other blockchain projects they use. But DPoS basically has some limitations because it's so centralized. Basically, it's 21 nodes, 21 witness nodes. We just control the entire network, right? So that's not fair. That's not fair for everybody. So that's why we want to enlarge the size of the delegates pool to make it like a few hundred, even few thousand nodes. But like every round, we will have like a randomized way to choose maybe a small subset from this pool to do the consensus. So that's how the RDPoS works at a very high level. So we are going to introduce RDPoS, which is both fair and also efficient. And second one is blockchain in blockchain. I think I have a separate slide for that. So this basically tries to solve the problem I mentioned earlier. Like if you have 2 million devices and each of them are different, how would you like accommodate them together? So that's why we created this. We come up with this very good idea. So it basically means like we will have a root chain at the very top, and we have side chains for different applications. For example, all the autonomous car, maybe they will just work in one side chain, and or I don't know, smart home devices, they will work in another subchain. And also like different subchains, they can talk to each other through the root chain. It's like an internet model, right? So basically you have this backbone internet, but also you have your local network at home, and each local network can talking with each other. So that's basically the idea between the blockchain and blockchains architecture. And privacy, like I said, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they provide some sort of privacy. Basically, you cannot tie the address to the individual, but you can still see things that is going on to that address, right? You can see like somebody maybe send you 10 Bitcoin, somebody maybe just withdraw 10 Bitcoins, things like that. We want to completely hide those things. We want to make like the address just viewable by yourself, but not by everybody else. So that's a privacy technology we are going to use. I'm not going to talk too much detail about privacy, but I just want to emphasize, like there are a few projects who are also doing privacy. For example, Zcash, maybe Monero, but like the way they are taking is so heavy. Like basically we cannot just migrate them to the IoT world. Like the IoT world, it needs a different way of doing privacy. So that's the thing like we are focused on. Okay, so enough about technical details. So talk about the token and usage. So basically, IoTeX network will have 10 billion token in total, which is a fixed supply. I think everybody likes fixed supply. We like a pre-mine a small portion, but will remain like the majority of the portion for the future mining. Like the mining model is similar, and Bitcoin it will have a few every few months until it's just mined out. And the usage for the tokens are gas or transaction fees, cross-chain management, because we have this cross-chain communication, so we do need some token to manage how people do this cross-chain. Like we want to make sure like the bandwidth between two subchains will not be abused. And third one is like the network-wide governance, like how do we vote for the delegates? How do we update the protocol? We have to ask people to vote. So that's the third way of using the token. So this is our roadmap. I would say like this is a very aggressive roadmap. So basically we are going to launch the testnet in next few weeks. Hopefully middle of April, maybe late of April in the worst case. And we are going to release the mainnet by end of this year, maybe August or maybe after that. So in between, we are going to figure out how would we implement this privacy technology? How would we do this cross-chain technology? So we already have some academic paper that is under writing, and we will release them as time goes by. Okay, so with this, I'm going to pass it on to my co-founder, Kevin, who's going to talk about ecosystem and the community.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin, co-founder of IoTeX. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming at a raining night. It's very difficult for us to make such a warm meetup. Today, I'm going to talk about the ecosystem that IoTeX is going to power. Which one? Okay. First of all, I'd like to talk about how we are going to power different ecosystems. As Raullen said, we are going to have a IoTeX blockchain. We call it the root chain. And that will be maintained by IoTeX team and also the community. And on top of that, we have the IoTeX chain SDK that different developers can develop their own subchains. For instance, shared economy, smart homes, autonomous vehicles, supply chains. Different developer can develop different type of subchains. And on top of those subchains, there can be even further, developers can develop their dApps, or we can call it modules, and that can be injected into different subchains. Let's zoom in into the sharing economy. Probably, I do not, this is my first time being in Korea. I didn't see a lot in Korea, but however, if you have read news, and there's a lot in China and the US that different companies are doing the sharing economy. For example, like shared bicycles. People can just deposit their money and then they can rent a bicycle directly from the street. And in this scenario, and in the traditional way, people have to deposit to a centralized company like Mumbai or other companies, and but however, you have no idea how they are going to do with your deposit. But powered by blockchain, it can easily be done. For example, like on IoTeX, people can have their own subchain, and they also have their smart contract, so that people can fully trust how the code, the smart contract, will deal with their deposit. How it works will be user using their dApps and to unblock the device through the smart contract. And the smart contract would hold the deposit. And when they finish using the device, the smart contract will return the deposit fully to the user. And there's no relationship between the user and the company. And they do not have to even trust the company. They can say, oh, because I trust the blockchain, I trust the smart contract, I can totally do this. And this further reduces the barrier for other companies who are doing the kind of sharing economy. They can easily enter this field. If we take a closer to look at autonomous cars, we mentioned a lot. Right now, it's not mature yet, but in the future, if we envision in the future how autonomous cars can change the world, and the user would be autonomous cars, they will more like operate like a robot. They can do their own work, and they can earn tokens, they can earn money, and the user can summon a car for riding, and the autonomous cars can come to offer a ride. And the autonomous cars, because they are like a robot in the whole ecosystem, they can talk to the root chain, and they can talk to different subchains through the root chain. For instance, there's one chain, they can update their operating systems, and they can even talk to the energy chain to charge the car, and they can even negotiate the price. And they can also schedule car maintenance because they know their status. They can do it autonomously. And so this is how we envision if blockchain plus autonomous vehicles, how it will change the world. So this can be done. It's a perfect example that blockchain can make the robot world more autonomous. Smart home example. Can I ask a question? How many of you have your smart device at your home? This is your hand. Not a lot, but probably everyone has your smartphone at least. Yeah. So, but also, how much you do not have a smart device at home? Is that because you do not trust the smart device? Because smart device at home, this is fully related to your day-to-day life. Because you can, if you have a kind of camera at home, they can monitor you all the time. Although it can bring also a lot of convenience if you want to look at the condition at home, but also the camera themselves also are looking at you as well. And if this is controlled by a centralized company, for example, like Nest being done by Google, and some like even not very reputed companies, you probably wouldn't trust at all. And in this example, blockchain, on IoTeX blockchain, we can have different subchains at different homes, and as a result, the devices talk to each other through the home subchain. So they do not talk to originally the kind of like the cloud that another company is providing, but instead they are talking to each other locally. The data that the IoT devices captured just shared with each other. They trust each other, you trust them. And if necessary, they have to talk to the outside world. For example, like they want to know what the weather look like today. They want to know maybe what day it is today. They can talk to other blockchains through the root chain that IoTeX is providing. And in the future, we also think all the devices they all have their digital ID. And all the users, of course, they will have their wallets. They also have an ID on the chain. So we will have provided the mechanism that either through a subchain or like each user and the device can have their own virtual ID on the blockchain. Okay, here are the ecosystems that IoTeX can power in the future. There are a few other examples I'm not talking about today because of the time limit. Let me share some amazing updates about our community. Within the last 2 months, the IoTeX community has gone to 76,000 people in the IoTeX community, and they are from all over the world. They are from over 50 countries. And IoTeX has been ranked #1 all the time since we launched on SEO jobs active projects. This is a screenshot I just take end of the last month. And geographically, this is how the IoTeX community is spread all over the world. And we can take a closer look at the Korea. It's only 1% so far. That's why we are here. We want to talk to you guys. And sorry, why it's come here. We need your help. We want to talk to you. We want to make sure you understand us, and also you can help us to spread the word of the IoTeX. And also, please join into our community. And we have a lot of reward programs in our community. We have done a lot. For example, like a puzzle that this is actually the puzzle that you probably can also take a picture and try to solve it at home. And it's very interesting. And I want to also emphasize the charity programs that we have done recently. The first charity program, within the first 2 hours, we have a few thousand people sign up and the whitelist. And in the end, we selected 3,000 people who eventually participated in the charity program. And we regularly host this charity program. The goal for the charity program would be we try to encourage all the community members to do charity. And as a result, we also give the reward to the community. Okay, let me briefly talk about the team. So the core team, Raullen and Xinxin, they focus a lot on the crypto and the blockchain. They have done tremendous research in the last few years on crypto and the blockchain. Raullen did his introduction. Xinxin was a research scientist at Bosch before joining the team. And he has done 14 years research and in the crypto field. And me, I worked at Facebook before joining the team. And I focused on system and crypto. And Jing has a VC background. She focused on community and partnership. She's also here in the field, over there. And also we have a growing team. The team is also decentralized. They are mostly in California, United States, and some of them are also from the Southeast Asia and China. These are our great advisors. Prof. Gong, IEEE fellow. She has been a top scientist in lightweight cryptography. And Jack is a founding partner of Foxconn Investment. And Fan is a founding partner of Secure China. And we are very honored to have a list of reputed investors. And also the last row is our strategic partners. I would like to give special thanks to Hashed, who has been giving us a lot of support and who also helped us to set up the meetup today. And also, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. As a thank you gift, I would like to do an airdrop just for people who stay so night with us. And you can look up, hold up your phone and scan the QR code. Or if you do not know how to do scan QR code, and you can also type the URL and follow the instruction. If you see the website, and there's a button redirect you to a Telegram bot. Once you are in the Telegram bot, and you can hit the start, and then you get the bounty. Okay, that's all for today. While you are claiming your candy, we can also take questions. Yeah.
All right.
Raullen, do you want to come?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. So I have questions on the subchain.
Yeah.
So you said the subchain is going to be managed locally. Does that mean the subchain is modular and anyone can connect the subchain to the root chain, or how is it going to work?
Yeah. So for subchain, originally we'd like the developers to set up the subchain, but however, it's very easy for everyone to set up the subchain as well. But in the smart home example, we like to also define some standards so that different developers can join the same standard of the subchain at each home, so that the data can be protected into the subchain.
So is that going to be a hardware with the subchain, or?
The hardware will be still the IoT devices, and we will try to lower the barrier of different developers, IoT developers, to get their devices onto the IoTeX chain and the subchains.
All right. Another questions? Okay.
First, thank you for your visit to Korea from long journey from USA. And I'd
thank
like
you.
to ask a question about business perspective. And could you explain your user base? I mean, using your platform. And I'd like to know some detail, practical example where a company applied your platform and into a real life example.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Right now, we are actually talking to a lot of developers. Also, we can call it the partners, and they are very interested in different ways. I can give you some examples. One example would be there's one company who is doing kind of like a shared, not shared, but kind of like advertising screens in restaurant and shopping malls. And they have deployed over 10,000 screens in different public spaces. And they would like to using the blockchains to turn their business model from the very heavily on BD, and they have to do the BD to the restaurants and the different vendors, different real estate owners, and they want to turn it into the way that the community can drive it themselves. As a result, advertisers can deposit tokens and their advertising kind of materials into the smart contract so that their ads being displayed on their screens. And the vendors, the real estate owners can deploy the screens without any talking to any party into their in their company. They want to totally reconstruct their economy based on our blockchain. Yeah, this is one example. We can talk more about other examples. Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? We are building our own chain. Yeah. It'll be a architect. It'll be a hierarchy. We have our root chain, which is completely a new main chain, and different developers can deploy their own subchain on top of our IoTeX chain. Sorry. Not exactly. The knowledge. Yeah. Do you want to take this question? Yeah.
Like we look around, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are good, right? But they are not designed for IoT. There are a couple of limitations. So that's why we have to build everything from scratch. Like the code is even like just written, right? So so you're saying zero knowledge proof? Yeah. Yeah, zero knowledge proof is cool, but it's too slow. Like every time you run zk-snark, it takes like a 4 gig of memory, which is not possible on the IoT device, right? So we have like our approach is more close to the ring signature approach, but we want to make it even more lightweight compared to Monero. Yeah. Yeah, there will be some technical details, maybe in the form of an academic paper, in the coming months.
All right. Okay, any other questions?
Did you guys finish the airdrop, by the way?
Okay, I am blocking this. Okay, sorry.
Did anyone
So-
succeed? Oh, you succeed. Or you have
Okay, you have a question.
Also, we have our flyer from the front, and if you take one, there's also a QR code. You can finish your airdrop. Try to finish your airdrop tonight. We are going to close by tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a simple question. Seeing your architecture, then you have a very good performance and in terms of scalability is very good. But why do you only focus on IoT? Just my opinion, your architecture can tackle the problem of the scalability issue main blockchain protocol have. What do you think about it?
I think that's a very good point. So because we vision like the world in the future, everything is connected. So everything is IoT, right? So if this one works for IoT, it works for everything. So that's our vision.
I can a little bit more. This is a very good question. Taking IoT as a first step is also it's kind of like there's a lot of advantage a lot of technology we can do with blockchain. For example, like we shall solve the how we can make the blockchain more lightweight and also very privacy centric. But however, I think we also want to focus a lot on the applications as well. And IoT is such a field that all the IoT devices is very limited on the computation power and storage and also connectivity as well. And this is a perfectly start point for IoTeX blockchain. Yeah. To answer our question, I think I totally agree with you that in the future it can actually power a lot of others. And also when we talk to different partners, some of them they are not actually doing IoT manufacturing. They, for example, like the supply chain. They can be somehow done by the IoT, but also there's a lot of other fields. This not only IoT, but they also want to use our blockchain to do their work. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you very much. So,
one more question?
okay, another question.
Yeah, this is a very good question. Do you want to take different
I didn't hear you
consensus?
very well.
Yeah, do you want to repeat?
So stacking blockchains is very interesting, but wondering what kind of attack vectors that open up the architecture to, and maybe what kind of problem it will cause for consensus between the subchains and the main chains.
Yeah. First, take on this consensus question. Basically, the consensus needed for this stack blockchain is basically it needs instant finality in order to make this cross-chain transaction really quick. Because if every transaction has to be like to wait for a few blocks to be final, then when you do cross transaction, it's just a disaster, right? So that's why we have this consensus which has this instant finality, which makes cross-chain both efficient and possible. And second, the attack vector. That's a good question. Basically, when you open up a subchain, like everybody in the subchain can attack you somehow, right? So that's why we actually learn from Plasma. We have to ask the subchain operators to put down a certain amount of stake onto the root chain in order to make it work. If like the sidechain, they have some fraud proof, or if we have did something wrong, like the root chain will just shut down and take all the deposit. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation and Q&A. Please, once again, thank you to our IoTeX team.
Thank you.
Thank you.